on purpose. Okay, so I'll share the screen. Yes, you may please go ahead, whoever would like to. First canto. Anybody would like to summarize, please? I will not go to the slide, otherwise you will just look at it and say it out. First canto, 1, 2, 3, 4.
First canto, Mataji.
First canto, first chapter. Yes, please. Yeah, you will see. I will need a lot of help today. Yeah, first canto, first chapter. Yes. Yeah, if you are ready with the whole first canto, please go ahead. Do that.
First 3 shlokas, Mataji.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Glorifying the Supreme Lord. First shloka. Second shloka, it's asking, glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam, asking to leave all sorts of religion and take devotional service. And
sorry, Mataji, sorry to interrupt you. Prabhu, recording ho rahe kya? Nahi dikh rahe?
Live on YouTube, Mataji.
Oh, I said, kyun? Prabhu, recording hoga change kada? Ante,
I think Mataji, recording would.
Oh, okay. I don't know much. Okay, Prabhu, all left to you. Thank you. Please go ahead, Mataji.
And third shloka is also glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, Galitam Nigam Kalpataru Galitam Phalam. And then it has, I know it has 6 questions. Was there anything in between?
The person who says glorifying the person who's going to speak.
That is second chapter.
Okay, that's second chapter.
That is second chapter.
Good try, Prabhu. Good try.
So I don't remember, Mataji, if there is anything in between the 6 questions.
All your effort.
Okay. Qualification of the speaker. Quality.
Right.
Yeah.
Qualification of the speaker, Kali Yuga Jiva, effect of holy name, Krishna Katha, and Sadhu.
And then 6 questions.
And then 6 questions. So 6 questions are?
What is the ultimate good for the human society? What is the goal of the scriptures?
Yeah, and what's the answer for those 2 questions?
Devotional service.
Right?
Bhakti.
And
then Krishna's, why did Krishna take birth in Devaki Vasudev?
Why did Lord appear?
Yeah. And then about his Guna Avatara and Leela Avatara. And then last question was, after the Lord left, where does the Dharma take shelter?
Yes, awesome. Yeah, quickly. First 3 verses about the Lord, about Srimad Bhagavatam, specialty of Srimad Bhagavatam, and invitation of Srimad Bhagavatam to come relish the Bhakti Rasa. And then qualifications of a speaker. After that, qualities of Kali Yuga Jiva, and then effect of holy name, Krishna Katha, Sadhu. And the first 2 questions, ultimate good for humanity and essence of all scripture is Bhakti, devotional service. Awesome, devotional service is there. And why does Lord appear here? And when he appears, he has to, the Purusha avatars and Leela avatars also come. So more about that. And after he performs his pastimes, he disappears. So then when would the Dharma, where would Dharma take shelter after Lord disappears? First chapter. Good. Second chapter, anybody else would like to? Just recall, here and there is also fine. Shamakeshwari Mataji, I see your hand risen. Is that accidental or you want to say something?
By accident, probably.
That's what I thought, because we don't have hand raising. We just talk. I mean, it's very informal, so we can just talk.
Yeah, I understand somehow.
Exactly.
Is it gone now? Yes.
Yeah, gone now.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. And second chapter, anybody would like to say? Few words here and there is also fine. We can do it together, all of us. So the second chapter starts with the answer for the first 2 questions, right? After these 6 questions were asked by Naimisharanya sages, naturally the second chapter would start by Suta Goswami replying the answers. And whenever a speaker would reply, then they would do the invocation. So invocation by Suta Goswami, and then thanking the audience for the wonderful questions. Because why are those questions wonderful? 2 reasons. One is those questions are related to Lord Krishna, Krishna Samprashna. And when they're related to Lord Krishna, since everything comes from Krishna and everything belongs to Krishna, everything operates on Lord Krishna's rules, any topic related to Lord Krishna will bring Lokamangala. And so those questions that has relevance to these points are auspicious and very substantial. That's why speaker is thanking the sages for those wonderful questions. And as the answer to the first 2 questions about Bhakti, the glories of Bhakti were spoken. And first of all, the definition of Bhakti. What is Bhakti? Bhakti is that reciprocation with Bhagavan, which is felt as Yayatma Suprasidati. That is the indicator that we are doing Bhakti, that our Bhakti is going in right direction. We should be feeling Yayatma Suprasidati. If we are not feeling, then we have to switch the gears, do a little twisting, just to make sure that we are not in the right modes. But ultimately, Bhakti is that which causes Yanatma Suprasidati, when we get connected to the Lord in the heart. And while we get connected to the Lord in the heart, what can happen as byproducts? Detachment can happen to anything external, because attachment to Bhagavan is so powerful and tasty, the detachment automatically happens. And the knowledge about Bhakti and Bhagavan also comes. These are the byproducts of Bhakti. And what is the role of Varnashrama Dharma in this Bhakti? Yeah, occupational duties. How can they help somebody have Bhakti? If those occupational duties are utilized in a way that it is favorable to their Bhakti, then they are conducive to Bhakti, as long as their duties are done with an intention to please Krishna, or at least as long as the duties don't obstruct this process of Bhakti, then the Varnashrama Dharma is doing its job. And next one is the stages in Bhakti. This is what we were discussing last time. We will come to that point now. The last one in this answer of Bhakti is this Bhakti, the Bhakti Rasa, is meant to flow only to Vasudeva, not to any Jiva, but to Bhagavan Vasudeva. Yeah, so that Srimad Bhagavatam makes it clear. Bhakti is meant for Vasudeva. Yeah, so this is what we were discussing about the stages in Bhakti, details of stages in Bhakti. Our journey, Bhakti journey. Let's see. So, Bhakti journey. We have discussed about how our Bhakti started. In general, what Srimad Bhagavatam says about the journey of devotion. How does it start? Satam Kripa. Some devotee was really kind to us, gave some prasadam, or gave a book, or invited to temple, or invited to satsang. So, causeless mercy of the devotees. That's how everybody's Bhakti would start, somehow or other. And then, after the invitation, they would participate in the seva. Mahat seva is seva to a pure devotee. As we discussed last time, here, anybody who knows about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Lord Krishna through ISKCON And when they participate in ISKCON or Gauranga Mahaprabhu's movement in one form or other, either just hearing to the katha or doing some kind of service in any form at the temple or to the devotees or Bhakti Vriksha, anywhere, any kind of involvement starting from hearing is all considered service. To who? To the pure devotee who brought Krishna to us, that is Srila Prabhupada. So by that we are increasing our piety. The piety is increased. When that piety increases like that, yeah, the piety bank account gets full. And then what happens? Their desire to start bhakti starts. Until then, whatever services they have done, they are called services. That's more of piety. But when their faith develops, especially the faith in the scriptures, yeah, when they get to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna is saying in the 12th chapter that you are my part and parcel. Mamevamse jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. So yes, please come back to me. Get reconnected to me through the process of bhakti yoga. Take up this abhyasa yogena tatha mamichyatum dhananjaya. Take up this abhyasa yoga, sadhana bhakti, and cultivate the desire to come to me. That message that is there in Bhagavad Gita, the people who gets attracted to this message wants to take up the process of bhakti, take the shelter of bhakti. Then they will start their journey, Shraddha, faith. Faith in the scriptures and Guru Padashraya. They take the shelter of Guru and Krishna. Yeah. All this from 1st to 4th is covered here. Can somebody read this sloka, please? Recite this one.
Mataji, I have one question.
Okay.
What is the difference between the shelter and initiation?
It's the same. Shelter is, initiation is starting to take shelter. Initiation of taking shelter. That's what it is. It's the same. And what it means is that we are starting the process of Sharanagati. First step of Sharanagati is to take the shelter of the process of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, doing that regularly. So commitment to do the process of bhakti regularly is called initiation or shelter. That's it.
Okay.
Under the guidance of Guru.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
sure. Yeah, so these 4 slokas, these 4 stages are covered here. Oh, by the way, whatever we are going to cover now, the stages of bhakti, this is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Madhurya Kadambini also. So whatever we are discussing now, simultaneously we will be covering Madhurya Kadambini and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also. Yeah. Somebody, you want to recite, please? Susrusha. Yeah, please.
Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yeah, and we can do it together if you want.
Okay,
Yeah,
because I'm listening, I'm doing it through the PC computer. That's why I just let me know if you can't hear me, okay?
yeah. Go ahead, Mataji. Do it together. Danasya Vasudeva Katha Shanmaha Punyatirtha Nishevana.
Punya Tirtha Nivasana. You want me to read the second one, Mataji?
Yeah, later. We'll cover it, Mataji, one by one.
I will let somebody else understand.
Yes, thank you. So that's the first sloka, and that covers the first 4 steps. From Satam Krupa to Shraddha. And please see, Susrusho Shraddha Dhanasya Vasudeva Kadaruchihi Shan Mahatsevaya Vipraha Punyatirthani Shevanat. Mahatsevaya has happened here. We have served a pure devotee. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada. By somehow or other being involved in ISKCON, we have served Srila Prabhupada. Our faith has increased in the scriptures, and we took the shelter of the process of bhakti to practice bhakti, abhyasa yoga, sadhana bhakti, as recommended by Lord Sri Krishna in 12th chapter. That has happened. Yeah, all good. Next. Shrinvatam swakataha Krishnaha punya shravana kirtanaha hridantasto hi abhadrani vidhunoti safrisatam. Okay, now that we have taken this process of bhakti and practicing it regularly, real cleaning starts now. Up until then, we are just an outsider, just viewing the fun, watching the fun, and we think, oh, okay, this can be easily done. But now the real cleaning starts. Shrinvatam swakataha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha. But this cleaning that happens in the heart is a beautiful one, because we don't do that cleaning. We cannot do that cleaning. There is so much to clean from lives in the past. So we are not going to touch anything. We are just going to Shrinvatam swakatah Krishna. We are just going to hear Lord Krishna's about Lord Krishna and what Lord Krishna has said. Yeah, and just by hearing about Krishna and from Lord Krishna through Sri Guru, Hridantasto hi abhadrani, all the inauspicious things, abhadrani are inauspicious things that are troubling us inside. And when we are troubled, what we give others to others is also trouble. So that abhadrani, that dirt is vidhunoti, just washed away, not just dhunoti, vidhunoti. That Krishna Katha, then heard with a submissive mood, with faith, that is going to enter into from the ear, sit in the heart, and displaces all the inauspicious things out, cleansed out. And here abhadrani are inauspicious things. And what are inauspicious things? The desire for material enjoyment. That's the biggest, that's a root cause of inauspiciousness. So slowly, as you might have noticed, after we started doing the sadhana bhakti, somehow or other, itna attachment, whatever we used to have before for the movies or any interactions or anything outside, that does not drag us so much. Still, there may be a little bit of pulling, but not so much of indulgement. And why does that happen? Here, serious bhakti did not start yet. It's just we just took the shelter and we started the process. Even then, the cleansing has started. And itna material pulling, that comes down. So that is bhajanesha spruha. By the doing bhajan. Bhajan is hearing Krishna Katha, taking Harinam and doing sadhu sangha. That's all comes under bhajanesha spruha. Okay, that's good. Vidhunoti is happening. The cleansing is happening. And deep cleansing. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. This is the difficult part, deep cleansing. We have to get ready, we have to sustain, but this is only to get better. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. All those, misgivings that are there in the heart, they are continued to be cleansed with Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavata Seva is two types. One is serving the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, that is hearing, and also serving the devotees. If a pure devotee is an advanced devotee is available, then we want to serve them, because the faith in the process of bhakti, the understanding in the process of bhakti deepens when we associate with advanced devotees. So with that kind of faith and understanding, we will be able to serve all the devotees better. So whenever there's an opportunity for the with the association, for the association of advanced devotees, we want to take that opportunity, so we can do our services better, including Vaishnava Seva to everybody. So that is Nitya Bhagavat Seva. Yeah. So as we, Nitya means always, on a regular basis. So on a regular basis, when we are hearing the Harinam, as we are doing in the Japa call every day, with all earnestness, trying to remove the blocks, aparadhas, and sincerely doing the Harinam, Nityam, every day, Bhagavata Sevaya, and we are hearing from Bhagavatam in the evening, Nityam, every day. So with this everyday constant flow of Krishna in the form of Harinam and Krishna Katha, there's a lot of cleansing that happens. And we come to this stage, Naishtiki. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Nishta, the steadiness comes. Because deep cleansing bhi ho gaya. Pehle, superficial cleansing. Then we will know we have to get our seatbelt ready, put the seatbelt on, and the drive is going to start. Deep cleansing hoga. But if we continue that Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, then we are walking through it. We are walking through the journey only to see that the dirt is being washed away and we get steady in devotion. We will not need so much of effort to do this bhakti regularly. So that stage where we start to feel like, this isn't too bad, fine, I can chant my rounds in the morning. I want to get up early in the morning and chant my rounds. And I want to hear something in the evening. This is good. And if there is some service, yes, I want to take up. When we start feeling like that, naturally, effortlessly, for a long period of time, it means we are slowly getting to the stage of Nishta, which is good. But before that, there will be Anishtita Bhakti, ups and downs, expected. Yeah. So that's the next stage. And so this Bhakti here, Anarthapagamam, disappearance of the obstacles, and Nishta. From all this part is covered in this sloka. That's third sloka. Yeah. Okay. Now, all of you are very steady in Bhakti. So steady. That is just a part of, that's your life now. That's your lifestyle now. You can't wait to get up early in the morning, do the japa. You want to do more japa. And yes, there's not too much of effort to continue with the services. Yeah. And Krishna Katha, Shravanam is also going on. By the way, when the Shravanam means whatever we hear, that's the first part, hearing. First step in Shravanam. Second step in Shravanam is when we hear, there are certain points that are very relevant to us. So we note that down on the paper or mentally. And then do Swadhyaya. You study that part. Do the contemplation, third step. Fourth step is it should come out as practice. That is a total package deal of Shravana. Yeah, that's what is said, no? Parikshit Maharaj in the 7th chapter. It says how we can have rapid progress in bhakti. Shrinvatam Shraddaya Nityam Granatasta Swacheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirgena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. So those 4 things should happen when we are hearing. So like that, if we are hearing that quality, and if we are chanting without aparadhas to the best of our ability,
Sorry,
then
Mataji,
we'll
could you
come to
repeat
the
the
Nishta
four?
Huh?
Sorry, Mataji, could you repeat the 4 steps?
Yeah. In Shravana?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Yeah. First is hearing the message. And second is simultaneously when we are hearing, we have to jot down the relevant points. That's how we know that 1 hour of whatever we have heard, we have to do some packing, to see what we got out of the whole thing. So that's the second step, jotting down either mentally or on the paper. Third thing is swadhyaya. Do your own study about that particular part in Srimad Bhagavatam. See, like for this, we are going through the stages of bhakti now. You could go to Bhagavatam, read the relevant purport to get more understanding of this, and then contemplate on the subject matter. Yeah. So third one is contemplate on the subject matter by swadhyaya. When the contemplation happens, the samskaras happen within. We have to give that opportunity to for the shastra to form a samskara within us. Without the third part, samskara will not happen. Yeah. So whatever we hear would just be an information in the information box. That's it. It didn't make a samskara, an impression within us. So when the third point, contemplation happens, samskara happen, and it will come out as practice. Fourth step. Granatastha swacheshtitam.
Thank you, Mataji.
Swacheshtitam. Yeah, it has to come out as practice. All right. So that quality of hearing and the Harinam too. We should be looking forward for the Harinam. If we are not looking forward for the Harinam, then maybe we should hear more glories about the Harinam or do whatever that increases our faith and looking earnestness for Harinam. And when we look forward to Harinam and steadily and patiently, first thing is hear about the glories of Harinam. Second thing is know the process of how to do the Harinam right, niraparadha. So clarity on the process of doing the Harinam. Third thing is persistence. Application of the information that we have received. Yeah. And doing the process steadily, persistently, patiently. That's the third thing. Yeah. And fourth thing is, if you can do this, this will be very good. Just do the seva for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. It becomes so easy. Everything falls in place. Not because I want to get purified, not because I want this, or not because I want to progress in bhakti, not because I want to get rid of anarthas, not because of anything for myself. I simply want to do this Harinam seva to please Guru and Krishna in light of whatever information I have received without any aparadhas, like that. So intention is to please Guru and Krishna. Procedure is as given by the acharyas. That's it. Patiently wait for the result and the changes to happen within these 3 things. That's for Harinam. So when we are doing Nityam Bhagavata Seva like this, with the Harinam and the hearing of Krishna Katha, then we get to the stage of Nishtha quickly. Please note, many devotees may be practicing bhakti, but few of them may get to the stage of Nishtha quickly than others. Because first thing is, their desire to become steady in devotion. That's the reason. Second thing is, because of their desire to become steady in devotion quickly, Lord Krishna reciprocates accordingly and makes arrangement outside. So you can get the relevant information. And from within, he's going to give the inspiration and strength. This is all starting because we want to practice quality bhakti, that is nishtha. Yeah. And again, as the process takes its time, we want to be patient also. That is nishtha. Anything?
Sorry, Mataji. Clarification on the statement that you said you want to do the japa for the pleasure. Right? When we say that statement, what are we really saying, or what are we really meaning by that?
Yeah, Prabhu, I hear. You're not just hearing, but you're already starting to contemplate, and you need some anchoring for the contemplation. Isliye, we will address that, Prabhu. We'll address that question. Sure. Yes, definitely. In a practical perspective, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We will do that soon. Yeah. Once we go over this stages of bhakti, we'll open up for question and answers, and that'll be the first one we will discuss, Prabhu. Yeah. So this is the stage of nishtha. Yeah. And next comes the stage of ruchi, the 9th and 10th. By this time, what is happening? The deep cleansing bhi ho gaya, and we are able to practice bhakti every day with not so much of effort, relatively effortlessly. After that, what happens? Tada rajastamo bhavaha kamalobhadayaschaye cheta etair anavidham stitam sattve prasidati. This is the beginning of our joyful journey in bhakti. Now that the deep cleansing is happened too, it is said that from this point on, there will be rapid improvement, rapid progress in bhakti. Soon after the steadiness, there will be rapid progress. So all we have to do is just sustain that deep cleansing part. After that, we don't have to do anything different or special. Just avoid any aparadas, and the bhakti is just going to flow on its own, because it's very potent, very powerful one. So this is the starting point, where the flow of bhakti is more vigorous now that the blocks have gone. So tada rajas tamo bhava kamalobhadayaschaye cheta eter anaviddam. In the chitta, all the rajoguna and tamoguna is almost washed away, not completely, but almost washed away. And stitam sattve prasidati, the mode of goodness is predominant here. And by this time, the devotee is solid, peaceful, and all the more qualities in the mode of goodness, they just become a part of that devotee. Yeah, stitam sattve prasidati. Not only they can do the devotion effortlessly, but they kind of look forward to the services, or look forward to chanting, look forward to any anga of bhakti. Yeah, this is the part, 9th and 10th, both of them together here is covered in this shloka. When this passion and ignorance is totally gone, man, this stage of ruchi and asakti. You know, in the stage of asakti, whatever our swarupa is, the spiritual form is, a slight indication of that is given in Asakti. The quality of our Harinam here in this stage, since we have already done the Japa workshop, that as we discussed there, level 1, level 2 is very easy. You know, the Nama Paradas are not there much. Yeah, Bhakti is flowing so well here. For them, they can easily get to level 3 right at the start of the chanting, because they're already so very peaceful, and outside the japa also, they are in thoughts of Krishna. So in Ruchi and Asakti, they can get to level 3 right away. After that, when the Bhakti is starting to flow like that, and when our Swarupa is already shown, Abhasa, Swarupa Abhasa is given in Asakti. Next stage is the Ladini Shakti and Samvid Shakti from the spiritual world descends into the devotee, uncovering the spiritual form completely. So in this stage, once Swarupa, spiritual form, is revealed completely, this stage is called Bhava or Rati. Yeah. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavat bhakti yogatah bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Bhagavat tattva vijnanam. This is Samvid Shakti, all the transcendental knowledge. Yeah? And Ladini Shakti is the ecstasy, the joy that is experienced in devotion is because of Ladini Shakti. Because these two Shaktis descend, in this stage, the devotee is free of modes, free of any anarthas. They do not commit any aparadhas, but whatever was there that was done previously, a remnant of that will still remain. That is called aparadha vasana. That still remains. So what happens is, in this stage, they have their spiritual form. They can see Lord Krishna too. But there is no possessiveness yet. Yeah, because of the little vasana or remnant of aparadha that was done previously. So that is Rati, fondness. That's the 11th stage here. So here, the Swarupa is there, Siddharupa is there, and they're able to see Lord Krishna too. This is like blossoming flower. It hasn't blossomed yet completely, but blossomed halfway through. The next sloka is full blossoming of the flower. This is prema. Bhidyate hridaya grandhis chityante sarva samshayah shiyante chayasya karmani drishtayevatmanishvare. Bhidyate hridaya grandhis chityante sarva samshayah. There is nothing material in this devotee, not even the vasana of the anarthas. They are able to see Lord Krishna. They are able to reciprocate with Lord Krishna. And in this stage, being in the body is an obstacle for them because they cannot enter into the pastime. So, for this devotee who has attained prema, their living in the body is only to serve the instruction that was given to them. And when they see that the instruction has been served, then they will just quit the body to enter into the pastimes. Which pastimes is that? Wherever Bhauma Vrindavan is, they would take birth in Vraja. So they can get the darshanam here, 13th step. Yeah. And 14th is Vastu Siddhi or Harir Madhuryanubhavam. Not only seeing Lord Krishna face to face in Vraja, in the Siddha Rupa, but also start reciprocating with Lord Krishna. That is in 13th and 14th step. This is the journey of bhakti. Starting from here, this is Shraddha. Yeah. So we all have, all of us, in the very beginning too, we have this seed of Krishna Prema within us, but it's very dormant. And we have many obstacles around that is stopping the Bhakti Rasa to flow through Harinam. So as we move in the devotional journey, what happens is, whatever little bit of affection and bonding that we have for Krishna, it increases gradually. Not that it wasn't there in the beginning and it will come there in the middle. I said, hey, it's already there. Jivera Swarupoye Krishnera Nityadas. It is already there, but in a dormant stage. So this will be awakened and gets bigger and more bigger and flows in Asakti, Ruchi Asakti and Bhava stage until the fully blossomed Prema stage. This is full flow of Bhakti Rasa. From a little very dormant stage in Shraddha to full blown. Say if it is like a small seed here, seed has gone up, the flower, the buds here in Bhava stage, the buds are blossoming. They are in the transition from Bhava to Prema. So here they could see Lord Krishna, they saw the Swarupa. And then slowly they are able to see the pastimes also. And in the Prema stage, they have a choice to enter into the pastimes. So that drop of bhakti, droplet of bhakti becomes drop, a pond, a stream, a river, and that flows. And whatever obstacles that were there in the very beginning, as we practice bhakti, one after the other, the obstacles get washed away. Vidu noti sahasrata. That's what happens in our bhakti journey. What we are doing, whenever we are hearing Krishna Katha, whenever we are taking Krishna Nama, with sincerity and faith, we are increasing the flow of Bhakti Rasa. Chaitanya Charitamrita says that is called as watering the seed of Bhakti. Please remember, these are the two waters that are needed for this seed. Krishna Nama, Niraparada, and Krishna Katha with proper Shravana. In the association of devotees, Sadhu Sangha. These three things, they open up the flow of Bhakti Rasa. We don't have to be so much concerned about the obstacles. The obstacles are just going to fall apart, fall away as we go through this journey. We just have to be cautious that we don't commit aparadhas. And to prevent that, we want to develop service mode so there are no aparadhas. So, Shravanam, Krishna Katha, Krishna Nama properly with Sadhu Sangha in service. That's all we need to do in Bhakti. The Bhakti will flow. Flow and blossom to this stage of Prema from Shraddha. this is the map. And so we know where we are at. We have a little idea of where we are at. Next thing, I will pause here. But the plan is, next thing is to see what to expect. See, that's the map that we have seen so far. Yeah. What to expect in our journey at each stop. Now that we are in Shraddha, when we are doing, what is happening to us when we are in Shraddha, and what is happening to us when we are going through the Anartha Nivritti. What exactly is happening? What is the mechanism? What to look for? And how do I know my impurities are gone? Those are the details given in Madhurya Kadambini. So if we discuss about what to expect in each stop, then we will have an awareness of what to expect and what to do to get better. That we will discuss. Maybe we can discuss that in the next class about different stops in Bhakti, what to expect and what to do to move on to the next one. Yeah, so I will pause here. Before pausing, I just want to quickly summarize. We have discussed recap the first chapter, second chapter, and then we have seen the stages of Bhakti, starting from Satam Kripa and then serving the pure devotee, and which causes faith in us to take up the process of Bhakti, to do it on a regular basis, sadhana Bhakti. And then that's when we take the shelter of Guru and Krishna. That's in this sloka. After taking shelter, the cleansing process starts as we do the bhajana kriya. So that is covered in Bhajanesha Spurha, Bhakti, and Anardha Pagamam. That's in this sloka. After the deep cleansing has happened, we'll get to the Nishtha stage, steadiness. And in this stage of Ruchi and Asakti, that's the 9th and 10th stage here, we have predominantly we are in mode of goodness most part of the time. And Harinam is something that we look forward to because our relationship and bonding with the Harinam gets more stronger here. That is Asakti. Having Asakti is uncontrollable, the firm attachment for the Harinam, for the service given by Guru, and to serve the devotees. That's firm attachment. Nobody has to really push us. It's just attachment that comes. That is Ruchi and Asakti. And then is Bhava, where the Samvit Shakti and Ladini Shakti, which are the internal potency of the Lord, descends into the Bhakta and gives the spiritual form, where with that spiritual form, they can see Lord Krishna. And in the next stage, Prema, not only seeing Lord Krishna, they have the ability to enter into the pastimes. And when they want to do so, then they would just give up the body and take birth in Bhauma Vrindavan. That's when they will have darshanam of Lord Krishna and Harir Madhuryanubhavam, reciprocations with Lord Krishna, Vastu Siddhi. That's the journey we talked about from Shraddha till Prema. This is all sadhana bhakti till here, bhava bhakti here, the buds, and prema bhakti here. Yeah, level 3-4 starts here. Japa level 3-4. From it helps us to get to the stage from Ruchi and further. Yeah, I'll pause it here. And next week, we will talk about different stops in the journey of Bhakti. And yes, Prabhu, Nitai Gunamanipur, your question, I will take your question again. And yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yes, Mataji, I was saying, like, when you were talking about the japa, and you mentioned about
For the pleasure.
for the pleasure of
Guru and Krishna.
yes, Lord Krishna.
Right.
So what does it
Mm.
mean, and how do we do it? I would do it,
Right. Right.
I mean, I could just say, oh, I'm doing this for the pleasure of you, but I'm not sure if that's enough. It's just a statement in itself, but what does it really mean?
Yeah. Japa is more about servitude, Prabhu, about the service. It's done in the mood of service. Yeah. When we are doing the Harinam, not so much for the accomplishment, but in the mood of service. The reason I say this is, not I say this, the reason it is said in the scriptures is that when we are doing japa for some reason or other, to get progress in bhakti or for purification, that is all good, very good, everything good. Any reason that we have to do japa is all good. And whatever naturally comes out, we should go with that. If we try to incorporate something else that we don't naturally feel, is no good. Okay. So any reason that naturally comes out for us to do the japa, that would be the reason to do the japa, and that's totally fine. But a stage would come where we would feel like purification or not, progress or not, I want to simply serve the holy name attentively, and in a pleasing way. That's it. That will be the only intention. You see, that simply serving the holy name attentively, pleasingly, that itself is pleasure of Guru and Krishna. That's it. So in that desire, I just simply want to serve the holy name attentively in a pleasing way. There is not so much going on, I want purification, I want this. Itna sara nahi. So that's what I mean. So when that desire comes, then it is getting more close to, you will do the japa more steadily, more firmly, and more peacefully. Because when the intention is like that. That's what I mean. But in any case, any reason to do the japa that comes out naturally, we should just go with that.
And what does serve the holy name
Means?
Yeah. Like does it mean I know you have talked multiple times, but but in the sense that, is it that the attention,
right, yes. Serve the holy name means mind with the holy name.
Yeah.
Attention. Yeah. And I would say feel for the holy name.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord Krishna is there in the holy name.
Right. Okay.
If I'm not paying attention, how would I feel? So feel for the holy name. That's what I mean. Attention, attentively, and because Lord Krishna is there, not just the attention, thoda sa feel for the holy name. Yeah. So mind and heart with the holy name as much as possible. That is called service to the holy name.
Like when we do service at a temple, or when we're doing deity service itself, I assume it's like, there the deities are there when we're doing that, but here the holy name or is there, and we are trying to serve the holy name.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Each mantra, each syllable is like a deity there. So you want to pay attention. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, that is what avoiding offenses means, because we are acknowledging that Lord Krishna is in the holy name is Lord Krishna.
Right.
If I'm not acknowledging that and doing my japa with that kind of understanding, then aparadhas are happening.
Mm.
Yeah. In short, that's the one. If I don't acknowledge.
Mataji, can you repeat again this one, the last thing?
Yeah. If I don't acknowledge Lord Krishna present in the holy name and serve him attentively as I serve a deity, then aparadhas, it means aparadhas will happen if I'm not acknowledging it. If I am acknowledging that Lord Krishna is there in the holy name, and automatically I would give proper attention and proper mood to the deity in the holy name, right? Then when that proper attention and mood is there, then there is no aparadha. When there is no attention and proper mood, then there is aparadha. In short.
Mataji, then if we are doing it and we are not getting that attention, then we are doing aparadha now?
Since we are trying to get better, that is not considered as aparadha, Mataji. When it is done voluntarily, knowing that Krishna is there, but still, okay, I'm going to chant this way and I'm going to just do something else simultaneously during the chanting time, proper chanting time, then voluntarily not giving attention to Krishna in the holy name, that would be an aparadha. But when we are already trying, it means we are work in progress. That's totally fine. So we are on the way to Namabhasa and further stages. As long as we are trying, we are fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. But that's a nice question. Bhakti is about service. And what does serving holy name means? Serving holy name means mind with the holy name and proper mood to the holy name. These two things is a service to the holy name. And as long as we are trying for it, we are in the process of getting better. But if we voluntarily ignore to do that, then that would be an aparadha. Right. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hari.
Mataji, the stages that you were mentioning of bhakti, in that after prema, darshanam and harer madhurya anubhav, are those two possible when we are present in the material body, or those are only after we?
Only after quitting the material body.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, because the devotee has to quit this material body to take birth in Bhama Vrindavan.
Even for the vision, Mataji? Even to get the vision of
That is in Bhava. That is in Bhava.
Okay.
For that, we don't have to quit. To get the vision and to see the pastimes, which happens in Prema, for that we don't have to quit. But when one wants to participate in the pastime, then they will have to quit the material body and take birth in Bhama Vrindavan.
Okay, Mataji.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Even they want to do a darshan also before taking part in the pastime, Mataji. Even they want to do darshan also. For that also they have to quit the body, right?
No, that happens in Bhava stage. They don't have to quit. In Bhava stage, they are seeing Lord Krishna. What I can think of is, His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj. This was a well-known fact. He was in Samadhi for about 3 months. And he was not conscious of his body. So his body had to be taken care of, I think in one of those buildings in Mayapur Dham. So the devotee that took care of Maharaj, Lagudi Prabhu. He was narrating the whole thing. So in that stage, Maharaj was not conscious of his body, and he was trying to get through the walls. Yeah, because he's just not conscious of this dimension like that. Because he was seeing Lord Krishna. So in this material body, current material body, bhava stage is possible where they see Lord Krishna and seeing the pastime also. That would be prema bhakti. So from what I recall is he was going through, Maharaj was trying to go through Krishna because he needed to give flute to Lord Krishna, something like that. So the pastimes also. So that's samadhi. Bhava and prema, that can happen even in this current material body. But to participate in the pastime, they will have to quit. So when this pastime was happening, from what I remember, the Acharya from Sri Sampradaya, somebody came, and Maharaj body was also, the color was also changing during that period. And that's when they said that he is in this Bhava Samadhi like that. So he said, either Maharaj, he was doubtful if Maharaj would come back. The only possibility that he would come back in this body is if Krishna wants him to come back, or if he has something to do here and that he has to come back. So at that point, a body would become an obstacle for them. So they would not want to come back unless there is a service or something that needs to be done with that body. So after a few weeks or months, then again Maharaj came back he regained his consciousness, regular consciousness. But that's what happens in bhava, and they're not aware of their bodies. That is a classical example. We can see that in Chaitanya Charitamrita too. But there are many other pure devotees who would be in the stages of bhava, and it is very much possible that they are in stages of bhava, but not very much evident outside. Because if it is coming in their way of service, then they would want to see that those symptoms are not obstructing their service. So it would not be very evident outside, but internally they would still be in the stage of bhava. That is very much common. All our acharyas, they're the pure devotees. So, and Srila Prabhupada, and there were certain incidents where he had to just stop what he was doing, Kirtan Katha. And then I remember one thing. He was giving a lecture, and just in the middle of the lecture, he said something. And after that, he said, go ahead, start Kirtan. And I remember, this is from Prabhupada memories. So what I recall was, all the audience that were present in the auditorium there, they felt a change. They felt a change in that moment. And Srila Prabhupada was quiet for some time. He didn't say anything. He asked for the Kirtan to go on. And this disciple asked Srila Prabhupada after this incident of what has happened. Then Srila Prabhupada said something. So these moments are not uncommon for the pure devotees. We read that as theory, but for the pure devotees, they are not uncommon. Sometimes it is very much evident. Sometimes it is not very evident, and they want to conceal it so the service can go on. But they reciprocate, they see Krishna. And there was a Kadamba garland. There was one more story of Srila Prabhupada. Early in the morning, Srila Prabhupada was, even before anybody woke up, he was just doing Pradakshina, dancing around the temple room, and he had a big garland. And so somebody asked him where the garland is from, because those flowers are out of this world. And Sri Prabhupada said, Krishna appeared to him and gave this garland. And those flowers were not really available in that area. So those incidences are not uncommon for the devotees, just that we may not know them or all of them, but that stage is very much common. That's why we want to take shelter of those devotees so they can hold our hand and then walk us through in this journey.
Thank you, Mati.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mataji, I had one more question.
Yeah.
In the stages of bhakti, Satam Kripa and Mahat Seva, are those the stages of bhakti, or are they considered stages of piety before bhakti?
Mahat Seva is more like Seva Abhasa Mataji, in the sense, since they did not surrender to Guru and Krishna, it is technically called as service after surrendering to Guru and Krishna. And anything before that is generally called as piety.
Even though it is bhakti, Mataji, in some form?
It is related to bhakti, like bhakti abhasa.
Okay.
It's like bhakti abhasa. But later on, it will lead to bhakti after surrendering to Guru and Krishna. So that is bhakti abhasa.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah. In other words, on the way to real bhakti.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? 2 more minutes. Any questions or reflections? I'm prepared for something else, and yahin pe ruk gaye hum log. Couldn't rush because very relevant to us. All right. If no questions, then we will end. 3 minutes before. Is this happening to us?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Arvind Prabhu, yeah.
Yeah, let's this Netai Gunamani Prabhu.
Mataji, before the 3 minutes, give us a takeaway point.
Yes, Madhu Prabhu. You want to give a takeaway point?
No, Mataji, I want to hear from you actually.
Yeah, takeaway point. Now that we are talking about the stages of bhakti, the takeaway point for us is a droplet of bhakti is present within all of us. And all we need to do is do the japa and hearing regularly and sincerely. So this drop of bhakti can grow big and take us back to spiritual realm, to Lord Krishna, and continue the devotee association. So with these 3 things, then we can go back to the spiritual realm. The bhakti will flow more. Yes, Prabhu. Take home points, these 3 things.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Harinam, Krishna Katha, and Vaishnav Sangha. Regularly, sincerely. That's all. And the bhakti will flow. That causes Yanatma Suprasidati. That pleases Krishna, so it will please us also. And pleases everybody around us too. So good for them too.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, this stages, like this will be some overlaps also, right, Mataji? Like it is not like.
Yes, good point. Praveen Prabhu, good point. These are not clearly demarcated lines. now that Anartha Nivritti has happened, now the Nishtha will start. It's not like that. All of them are overlaps, Prabhu, actually. Thank you for bringing that point. Anartha Nivritti happens until the stage of Bhava. It just gets, the process spreads throughout. But there is not much of Anartha Nivritti at the end, but a lot in the beginning. So it's not like a stage. It is from the beginning to the end, but there is a lot of Anarthas in the beginning, but not too much at the end, like that. And the Nishtha also, there is a little bit of balancing in the beginning, but it gets more balanced later and then continue. So please look at these stages more as steps that spread across the whole journey. Yeah.
So Mitaji, my question is like maybe like what is happening with us internally and externally. Maybe predominantly we may be at some stage. How to assess that self-assessment? How to do that, Mataji?
Self-assessment, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. You know, the ignorance, passion, goodness, the chart that we have, signs and symptoms. What do we feel inside and what are people seeing outside? By that, we can see if we are in ignorance, in passion, or in goodness, or, we also talked about the qualities of pure devotion there. So we will checklist. Those are the checklists for us. So we match and see if this is what I'm feeling inside, lazy, angry inside, and doing the same thing outside. Then I'm in the very initial stages of bhakti, still very initial stages in the Anartha Nivritti. But if I'm feeling a little bit of peaceful and not hurting people so much, then I am a little bit towards the mode of goodness of bhakti, so somewhere towards nishtha, like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, ignorance and passion will be a lot in the beginning during the Anartha Nivritti. But as we come towards the goodness stage, then it will be more of nishtha and ruchi.
Okay, Mataji. Mataji, you're referring to the slides of last Saturday, right?
Exactly. Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. We can post them again, but yes, those are the slides, the signs and symptoms of ignorance, passion, and goodness.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, in connection to that question, in that sloka 1.2.16, so Shruva Shraddhasya Vasudeva Tatha Ruchi. So that Ruchi, which is mentioned over there, is that the same Ruchi that comes in the stages of bhakti? Because there it comes like pretty much in the
right.
After
no, that's a general usage, Prabhu. Taste to hearing. Just for taste to hear Krishna Katha. Some people don't have any taste to hear. Then how to develop the taste? When they develop the service attitude, then they would like to hear a little more in that context, hearing a little more, but not the same as that ruchi.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yes. When our service attitude increases, service to the devotees increase, then the taste to hear Krishna Katha also increases. That's what it means. Yeah. Now I think we can pause.
Hare Krishna, Nitai Gunamani Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Happy conscious birthday.
Birthday wish.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, so your birthday today, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Oh, then that's very nice. Harivan Prabhu, you have reminded. Okay. We'll sing Hare Krishna to you, Prabhu. That is very good. Only then the birthday would be complete, actually.
Yes,
Glad you reminded. Yes. Hare Krishna to you. You could unmute, please.
Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna.
Nitai Gunamani Prabhu.
Hare
Krishna to you.
May you always chant Hare
Krishna.
May you always chant
Hare Krishna.
May you always chant Hare Krishna and go back to heaven.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Hare. Now that
Thank you so much for your
the
blessing.
whole family. Yes, good. Awesome. Happy birthday to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Happy birthday, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Happy birthday, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhu.
Thank you.
So now this is an icing on the cake. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.